everyone, how are we today? Just doing a quick all signs reading today. We're going to be looking at any upcoming challenges that you might need to be aware of, or that you will be facing in the near future. Okay, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do really appreciate that. It really does help the algorithms, as well as all those awesome comments. Keep them up, guys. I love seeing them. Let me know if there's any specific topics you would like to see a reading on, or let me know what your favorite topics are to watch when you have seen them coming up on the channel. I would really appreciate all that feedback. I really enjoy seeing those comments, guys. So definitely get on that. But make sure you're subscribed, of course. Click the like button, refer a friend, all that fun stuff. Okay, today we're going to be using the Blood Moon Oracle cards. I'm also using the Gothic Church Lenormand. I did use this deck just the other day. I really like this particular deck. It gives very strong messages. So I was hoping to use that one again today as well. So we'll see how it goes with a more challenging topic, I suppose. Make sure you do check the description box for all my info if you're after a personal reading. Timestamps are in the description box as well. We're going to start off with our Aries today. Okay, Aries. Upcoming challenges Aries needs to be aware of. Any challenges that Aries needs to be aware of, please? We're seeing the resting place card coming through first here, Aries. Honoring memories, peace in accepting life's cycles and moving on from the past. New paths unfolding for you. So with this being your challenge position, this is, struggling to move on from past cycles and struggling to find those new directions, those new pathways to move on here. And also, with the memories, you may be struggling to cherish and honor the memories. You're maybe getting stuck in the bad, negative viewpoints of things that have happened in the past, rather than trying to find the positive things to cherish and hold on to in a positive kind of a way. So just keeping all that in mind there, Aries, that it's you are struggling a little bit here, or you will be struggling a little bit to move on from the past, I suppose, is the easiest way to explain that. Aries, upcoming challenges that Aries needs to be aware of. Upcoming challenges for our Aries, please. Definitely seeing arguments with friends coming through immediately here. We do have the whip coming through with the dog straight away there. So, straight away that can be arguments with friends, or, it doesn't really feel like an out and out argument. It may just be like differing points of view. Different opinions, that kind of thing. So maybe discovering that you and a friend have different religious viewpoints or political viewpoints, and we're just clashing a little bit over that. It doesn't feel like a huge out and out argument. It just feels like a bit of a clashing, a bit of tension more than anything. But it's coming through with the moon here as well. So, it just pulls up some emotional sensitivities. It's just a bit triggering for you here as well. So especially for those of you where this has got to do with past arguments with friends as well. So those things, because we're seeing that resting place card here, there might be some sort of past tension between yourself and friends with differing opinions, or a previous argument or something that you've had with a friend, and we are just sort of getting a little bit triggered at the moment, and we're maybe questioning even somebody's loyalty, dependability, because of the the difference there, the tension that has been there in the past. You're just sort of finding it really hard to get past that. So the moon really does sort of show us that emotional sensitivity, that it's kind of like you're still a little bit angry about certain things that maybe have been said or insinuated in the past here. So you're just struggling with that a little bit here, Aries. So just keep that in mind, that's the upcoming challenges for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Taurus. Okay. Taurus, upcoming challenges that Taurus needs to be aware of, please. What are the upcoming challenges our Taurus will be facing, please? Okay, Taurus, we're seeing the haunting music card coming through for you. Emotions flow through from creative expression, solace in art, using pain for good, creating harmony. So this is in the challenge position. So it's kind of like the opposite of what we're reading on the card here, that you're having trouble finding solace, and you're getting stuck in the pain, and rather than being able to use that creatively, you're kind of feeling a bit stuck in your head, I suppose, is a good way to sort of explain that, because music and the arts and creativity flow from heart space, from soul space, so you're just really kind of struggling to express yourself in heart space ways, in creative ways that are letting it out, kind of thing. You may be struggling to let it out, let the emotions out a little bit here. So you're holding on to emotions in a very sort of in your head space, rather than allowing them to flow on out. So just be aware of that, Taurus. It's kind of like writer's block, or the artistic blocks. You're just being a little bit blocked at the moment, where you're struggling to express yourself creatively, or express emotion even as well, Taurus. Taurus, upcoming challenges for our Taurus, please. Okay, so firstly we have the grave coming through here. That's followed by the stars. Okay, so it's kind of like with the grave here, that talks about an ending, that we're needing to sort of close the lid on. For a lot of you here, it can definitely be that blockage that we're seeing here, especially with the stars here as well, because it's kind of like an end to a dream, an end to a wish. You're finding it really hard to, maybe something in your energy, it's come to some sort of an end, and it was something that you were wishing for or hoping for, or a goal that you had set for yourself, and something about that has sort of come to a bit of an end, where it's no longer looking feasible for you, or you're unable to see how it is feasible because you've got this creative block. So you're unable to see past, and find another way to hit that goal, to get that wish. It's kind of like that you're blocking yourself from seeing that there's always another way. There's always another way, and that's what seems to be blocking you, is that you're just seeing this as, oh, well, I've missed out on my chance to have that. I can't have that anymore. Like that's come to an end for me. I just got to forget about that wish, because there's no way it's going to happen now. You've kind of blocked that, because you're not able to see other ways around it, if that makes sense. We do also have the fish here as well. So for a lot of you, this is about some sort of, it does seem to be some sort of like material thing with the fish here. This is abundance and wealth, and money. All right, so it definitely would be more likely to be some sort of material goal, some sort of money goal or career goal. Maybe, just as an example here, my wish was to purchase a new car this year, and you've hit some sort of, something has come to an end here, and you've hit some sort of like, oh, this is no longer going to be possible. I'm not going to get that new car this year, because you're stuck on the ending. You're stuck on whatever's finished, rather than seeing the full extent of this grave energy, because with every death, there is a rebirth. All right. So you're forgetting that that can transition, and you can put all that energy that you were putting into, oh, I'm going to get a new car, I'm going to get a new car. You can actually put all that energy into, the rebirth, the new beginning. So it's like a hope, kind of new hope, if that makes sense. So it's like your hope for something has come to an end, but because you're struggling to allow the emotions out, which is blocking you from transitioning into the hope for all that energy going into something new, a new wish, a new desire, a new goal. It's kind of like, just trying to find a better way to explain this, because it's like, if the original wish was, I want to get a new car, that's my goal that I'm setting for myself, is I want to get the new car, but my job's come to an end. So that's no longer going to be feasible, and you're taking that at face value. That's, my job has ended. I have, the potential for my new car is gone, because my job is gone, and you're not actually stopping and thinking through that. You're just stuck on that. You're very stuck on the ending, rather than going, oh well, once I find a new job, maybe my new job, I'll still be able to finance the new car, and then it's still feasible to actually have that wish manifest for myself. So it's just kind of like you're just getting a little bit stuck. There's like this creative block where you're not seeing that there's other ways around things, that this ending can actually transfer and transform into a new beginning, and you're just stuck on the ending, stuck on the finding closure kind of thing. The emotions are just getting very stuck in that. Okay, Taurus. So I hope that makes sense to you guys, but you're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's reading as well, for the Chinese New Year. And we will move on over to our Geminis. Okay, Gemini, upcoming challenges that Gemini needs to be aware of. Upcoming challenges for our Gemini. Strong roots is the card coming through for you here, Gemini. Staying grounded while reaching for your dreams, allowing growth to happen. Network of support. So, this is in the challenge position. So this is where you're struggling. Okay, so this is what the challenge is. It's you're struggling to stay grounded. You're kind of off afloat. Very air sign of you, Gemini. You're kind of finding it difficult to stay grounded and steady-footed, towards your dreams. You're kind of floating away and getting. I keep getting the word disentangled. You're getting like sidetracked, I suppose, from what those dreams are. You're not staying grounded in this is what I want and going for that. You're also not relying on your support network as much as what you can be here. You maybe that's something that would help you stay quite grounded here, is that network of support. So you're not really relying on anyone at the moment, and you're trying to do it all by yourself. And in order to stay grounded and in order to allow this growth to happen, you maybe need to actually rely on your support network a little bit more, regardless of whether that's friends, family, co-workers, or whatever. Relying on other people's support just a little bit more would really help this situation. Upcoming challenges for Gemini. Upcoming challenges for Gemini, please. So Gemini, we do have the sun coming through first, followed by the ring. Okay, so straight away, this is like the way you're looking at. It's giving me a very kind of clear message here, because we also have the key. All right, so you're kind of floating away with yourself, and you're not allowing it to come to light that a happy relationship is possible. You're kind of getting very stuck here in this, because this is the challenge. The challenge is seeing the happy relationship opportunities around you, because the key talks about, doors that are opening up for you, opportunities that are becoming available for you, for these things to be successful. The sun really brings things to light, and it's kind of like there's happy relationships trying to come to light for you, on the other side of these doors that this key is trying to open, but you're not seeing the opportunities. You're not kind of allowing them to come to light. It seems to be specifically about that, and it's not really talking about anything else here. It's telling me it's just happy relationships, and it's not so much that, like, because there isn't. It's telling me, there is an opportunity for happy relationships here, but you're not allowing them to come to light. You're kind of hiding in the darkness away from the potential of those, that you're kind of not allowing yourself to grow and reach for your dreams. You're it's kind of like you're kind of like you just, you're looking in the opposite directions, and you're not reaching for the sun, because what do trees do? They reach their branches towards the sun. They grow upwards, right? But you're kind of like burying your head in the sand, um, floating away with yourself here. You're avoiding the fact that there is potentially positive relationships, like, around you in your future, but you're kind of just telling yourself that's never going to happen. That's not possible. You're kind of keeping yourself in the dark and closing. It's kind of that, see no evil. You're kind of like, you've got the three monkeys, the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. You're kind of covering your own eyes every time an opportunity for a happy relationship comes along. You're kind of like, la la la, I can't see that. I can't see that. It's easier to just pretend I can't see that there's potentially happy relationships, because it's kind of like this pattern of, especially with the ring there in the middle, it's kind of like you've gotten yourself into this pattern, Gemini, where it's easier to just tell yourself that everything is crap, because that's what you're used to, rather than trying to hope for something more. Especially when it comes to, it seems to be specific to relationships here. So it's not really telling me whether it's, I do think that for a lot of you it's friendships rather than love relationships with that tree card. It might be family or friend relationships. It's like, you're kind of like, la la la, they're not trying, even when they have been trying, and things like that. You kind of trying to keep yourself in the dark, away from positive relationships, or allowing relationships to grow and nurture them. You're kind of just like casting them off as oh, that's not going to be good enough, kind of thing, before it's even been given an opportunity. Does that kind of make sense, Gemini? You're just keeping yourself in the dark about the opportunities, because there does, and the flip side of that is that it does tell us that there is opportunities there to be taken. You're just kind of like, la la la, can't see that. I can't see that. There's, like, if I don't turn the lights on in the hallway, I can't see where the doors are, so I've just got to keep walking until I bump into something. You're kind of trying to just bump into something rather than actually turn the lights on and find the opportunities that are available. I hope that makes sense, but that's the way it's coming through. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course, Gemini. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Cancer. Okay, Cancer. Upcoming challenges that Cancer needs to be aware of, please. Upcoming challenges for our Cancers. Okay, Cancer. Haunting music. Taurus had this as well. So if you do have Taurus placements, you may want to check that as well. Emotions flow through creative expression, solace in art, using pain for good, creating harmony. All right, so this is in the challenge position. So it's rather than creating harmony, it's creating disharmony, and finding ourselves blocked from creative expression, from allowing ourselves to flow emotions through us and release those emotions. We're allowing them to sort of stick in there and block us up a little bit. Does that make sense? Cancer. Upcoming challenges for Cancer. I'm actually also picking up here, Cancer, that for whoever is the musician, it's like you're having like writer's block with your music. I am picking that up because I'm seeing like a guitarist or a singer-songwriter kind of thing. I am still seeing the guitar, but I'm also seeing you sitting there trying to write lyrics and kind of and then like throwing it away. Because I'm actually kind of, it's getting overlaid with other images, but it's getting that scene out of 8 Mile where Eminem's on the bus and he's like scribbling and then scrunching things up and throwing them away, and Cancer. Upcoming challenges for Cancer, please. Yeah, like, not going to lie, it's because you're up in your head. Okay, we have the man coming through first. So, there's some chaos going on within yourself here. You're at war with yourself. With the masculine coming through first here, you're very, very stuck in your reality rather than allowing yourself to move into your heart space. Because, as a lot of people would know, if you are artistic and things like that, art and creative expression generally comes from your heart, from your soul. It doesn't come from your logic and your rationality, and you're very stuck in the rational thinking, the logical thinking of things right now. It's kind of like I'm getting that you're very much mathematical right now rather than expressive emotionally or creatively. And you're kind of at war with yourself because you're trying to be creative, but you're doing it through things that are very rational, scientifical, logical, and it's not working for you. You're kind of blocking yourself here. We have the Mountain coming through. You're making it harder for yourself. Pardon me. So it's like you've hit this block. You've definitely hit some sort of an obstacle here. But it's all about coming from your masculine energy at the moment, because that mountain, on the other side of that mountain we see the heart. Okay, so that's what you're struggling to get to here, is your heart space. And you're very stuck in this masculine energy where you're trying to take control and be in control of yourself here, but sometimes creative pursuit, you're not in control. Okay, sometimes you have to let it be in control. Does that kind of make sense here? So this is kind of what's going on for you. You've kind of you created some extra work for yourself. You're putting in too much work. Like, you're kind of making it harder than it needs to be, rather than just stepping back and just flowing. You're trying to think it out. You're trying to plan out something that can't be planned. Does that? I hope that makes sense. But it's like persevere, and try to just surrender a little bit here. It's kind of telling me is the solution here is to surrender and just persevere with, allowing the universe to be in control, allowing the creativity to be in control, allowing your heart and your emotions to be in control, rather than your rational, logical, mathematical mind. Okay, because that seems to be holding you back a little bit here, and creating more blockages and delays for you than need be. Okay, because it's kind of this energy of especially if you're like that singer-songwriter, it's like you're so focused on the deadline, and you're like, I've got to do this, deadline, that it's actually blocking you, and because you're so focused on, I've got to, you know, I've got to write this much by this time, and you're so stuck up in your head about it that you're not just taking it as it comes and just doing, you know, what feels more natural, and coming from your heart space and doing it because you love it, not because you have a deadline to meet. Does that make sense? So I hope that helps in some way, in the upcoming energy there, Cancer. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Leos. Okay, Leo, upcoming challenges for our Leo. Any upcoming challenges that Leo needs to be aware of, please? Ooh, eternal hunger. The vampire guy. Balancing desires with consequences, seductive power, unfulfilled wishes, using your many charms. So this is in the challenge position here. So that tells us that you're not doing these things, that you're not balancing the, you know, the desire to the consequence, that you're not using your charm, that you're, you know, that you're not allowing your passion to take over it all. Because the eternal hunger card, that's passion, right? That's a, you know, I'm hungry for it. I need this. I want this. You're kind of allowing yourself the fear of consequence, the fear of failure to overtake you here, Leo, that you're you know, scared of failure. It just keeps talking about fear of failure and the fear of the consequences, that you might give it your all and it not work. So you're afraid to give it your all. Does that make sense? We'll have a look here. Upcoming challenges for our Leos. Upcoming challenges for Leo. Very specific message for someone here. There's a friend from your past that owes you money, and you're not chasing it up, even though you want the money, you need the money. That's just one person. That's just coming through there. You know, that you've got this unfulfilled wish of, I want my money back, or I want my friendship back, for someone there too, maybe. But it's a friend from the past, and you're like, oh, it's easier to just let it go because, you know, you're fearful of what they will say if you hassle them for your money. But it's your money, Leo. You need it. Okay, so that's just one specific person. We do have the dog coming through first. So there is some issues here. Feeling challenged by support, you know, friendships, and being able to offer your support and rely, like, your dependability, and knowing that you can depend. It's because, you know, it's kind of like you're not giving your all to friendships because you're scared that something that will repeat itself from the past. You know, you may have lost somebody in the past, whether, you know, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's a friend. It could just be somebody that, you know, it's generally platonic relationships. So like a family member, a friend, workmate, those sorts of things. But it's kind of like the past is haunting you too much, and you're worried that the past will repeat here. So you're not willing to give of yourself to these friendships, to these, you know, these, ask for support or ask for loyalty, ask to have someone to depend on, kind of thing, because when you've done that in the past, it resulted in the loss of a friendship. Does that make sense? That and you're kind of putting that on this new thing, that it's like, I don't want to ask for support because in the past, when I've asked for support, I lost a friend from that, and So I'm scared to ask for support because I don't want that the past to repeat itself, kind of thing. Okay. We also have the fish here as well. So for a lot of you, this is to do with monetary stuff, abundance, wealth, like feeling as though you've got, a wealth of support as well here that, for some of you, it's money. You're fearful that, well, a friend in the past stole money off me or took money off me and didn't pay it back. So I'm scared to lend money out. I'm scared to, ask for money back and things like that. It definitely seems to be something about the past here. You're afraid of something repeating itself, with this, with this situation in the future here. And for some of you, it's about asking someone for money too, because you may need, I do feel I am picking up a little bit of energy here that you maybe are needing to ask for support and ask someone for help with money. And you are just afraid that when I asked someone for money in the past, it broke the friendship or it created some sort of problem in the friendship, or in the relationship or something along those lines. But I do feel for some of you, it may be that you're needing to borrow money off somebody here and you're really struggling to ask because of, this afraid of the past repeating itself kind of thing. Or you're needing some sort of support, from someone and you're struggling to ask. And that's what the challenge is, to actually, overcome the fear of consequence here. I hope that makes sense, Leo, but that's what we've got for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll move over to Virgo. Okay, Virgo. Upcoming challenges that Virgo needs to be aware of. Upcoming challenges for our Virgos. Vigilant watch. Facing fears, protecting your boundaries, being forceful when needed. Challenge the darkness. So this is in the challenge position. So you're kind of not paying enough attention to the darkness, Virgo. You're not facing your fears. You're not protecting your boundaries. Oh, people pleaser energy, Virgo. Virgo, you are one of the signs that do struggle with people pleasing. Every time I say that too, I always, it reminds me of, and she's a Virgo too, Charlotte Dobre, and she is a Virgo, and she's always talking about recovering people pleasers, and says that she is a recovering people pleaser. And I always associate people pleaser with, a trait that Virgo struggles with. Obviously other signs struggle with that as well, but a lot of Virgos do struggle with that quite a lot. I do see that a lot in my personal readings, that Virgo, you guys do struggle with people pleasing and allowing other people to overstep and take advantage of you in different kinds of ways. So you actually are needing to just take a closer watch of your boundaries and, be a little bit more vigilant with protecting yourself. Okay, and facing your fears as well. Right now it feels like you're not challenging yourself. You're not challenging the darkness within yourself. You're kind of like, la 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 la, I'm just going to pretend like everything is fine. So that's the biggest challenge you're facing here, but we'll have a look with the lenormand as well. Virgo, upcoming challenges for our Virgos. Upcoming challenges for our Virgos. You know what? I think I might do a reading for Charlotte Dobre in the near future. She's one of the ones that I've always sort of watched on YouTube, and I've always considered doing a reading for her. The lilies coming through first here, Virgo. So, do you know, this is kind of telling me you're being too kind for your own good. Just because you have a high moral self, high morals, high, high kindness, high level of kindness to others, it doesn't mean that others have that towards you, Virgo. And that's where this people pleasing boundaries stuff comes into play here, because you're not realizing that other people don't stick to the same moral boundaries that you do. That you're kind of like, oh, I would never do that to somebody, but that's not going to stop them from doing it to you. So you need to make sure you're standing up for yourself a little bit more and being kinder to yourself in the standing up for yourself, and saying, well, look, I would never do that to you, so I'm not going to let you do that to me. Does that make sense? Because you're definitely moving forward here. We have the ship followed by the fox. So you're needing to move forward to a bit more of a selfish kind of energy. So your challenge is moving forward to selfishness, and because it's not even selfishness. Okay, selfishness is a word that has so many negative connotations, but it's survival, and it's doing what you need to do to protect yourself and to be very independent, and make sure that you're getting a fair deal. It's the fox is a trade and barter kind of energy too. So it's kind of like you need to make sure you're getting a good deal and that you're not shortchanging yourself. All right, and that I keep getting the same thing coming here, Virgo. That it's like you're saying, especially with the lilies here, you're saying like, I would do this for you, so why won't you do this for me? I would never do that to you, so I won't let you do that to me. So those sorts of issues are coming up here in the near future for you, where you are needing to maybe stand your ground a little bit more, and keep watch for people's behavior that are trying to overstep. Because I feel as though there will be someone trying to overstep you here, and this is your challenge. Like, it feels less of a challenge in just general life, but more of a growth challenge point here, Virgo, where it's really about, okay, well, this is your test from the universe. You know what to do now. Can you actually do it? All right. Can you actually stand up for yourself, because you know you need to, and you know you deserve that. All right, so it's a bit of a test coming through, bit in that sense for you as well, Virgos. So, but you do deserve it. Okay, you like exactly like you are needing to say here. I would never do that to you, so I will not let you do that to me. Like, good for one, good for both, right? It's fair. It's equality, and that is totally fair on both of you, not just yourself. Okay. Um, fairness. There's not enough of it in the world. So make sure you're getting yours. All right, Virgo? But that's what we have for you. Make sure you check your other placements. Subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's reading for the Chinese New Year. And I will move on over to Libra. Okay, Libra. Upcoming challenges that Libra needs to be aware of. Upcoming challenges for Libra. The Mystic Brew card coming out for you first here, Libra. The power to alter reality, healing your shadow self, unveiling missing pieces, from mundane to miracles. Okay, so this is in the challenge position. So it goes kind of the opposite. It tells us that you're struggling to, heal the shadow, the darker sides of yourself. You're struggling with your shadow work, your self growth right now. You're healing within yourself. That you're getting a little bit stuck in the mundane day to day of life at the moment. You're struggling to manifest in a positive way for yourself. Okay, Libra, upcoming challenges for Libra. Yeah, you're definitely overthinking things, because we have the key coming through first. Okay, and then we have the clouds. So you're really struggling to open yourself up to new perspectives, new ways of thinking, to combat the overthinking, the negative thinking at the moment. You're allowing yourself to really sort of dwell in the confusion that's been created, the anxieties within yourself. That you're struggling to see opportunities as they become available to you, because you're very, very one track minded right now, and that is on the mundane stuff, on the negatives that you're being overshadowed with here a little bit. You're really struggling to open yourself up to new opportunities that come from positivity and positive thinking, because you're dwelling a little bit in the darker mindscape there. We do see the rider coming through as well. So for some of you, this is specific to, news of opportunities that you're being given here, that maybe people are coming in and trying to say, oh, look, Libra, here's this opportunity, open up to this idea and think about it this way. And you're kind of overthinking it and allowing the anxiety of, oh, no, that's never going to work. That, um, you're seeing good news as bad news kind of thing, that you're looking for the negative even when things are saying, someone's coming to you and saying, oh, Libra, here's this really good opportunity for you. You're only seeing, oh, but then this would happen and then I would have to forget about these current other opportunity. You're really focusing on all the negatives and the faults of things that are coming in for you right now. You forgetting to stop and pull yourself back and ask, okay, well, what's the positive sides of this? What are the potential positive outcomes that if I were to take these opportunities? You're kind of, very one-track minded, very tunnel vision, I suppose, is a way to think about it. You're getting very tunnel vision on, no, but this is what I've got to do. I've got to struggle, kind of thing. You're not allowing yourself to manifest anything other than that. So that's the upcoming challenges we're seeing for you here, Libras. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle to get out of that mindset and take opportunities that are offered to you, or even see them as opportunities. I suppose that you're just seeing that any of these opportunities coming your way, you're kind of only seeing that all the potential for them to fail. You're not seeing the potential that they very well could be successful opportunities for you here. Okay, so have a think about that one, Libra. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Keep an eye out for the reading tomorrow for the Chinese New Year, and we will move on over to Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, upcoming challenges that Scorpio needs to be aware of. Upcoming challenges for the Scorpio collective. Seek the light. Okay, yeah. Not going to lie, Scorpio. I do know some Scorpios that have already been struggling with this. Following your inner guidance, mindful of dangers, risk of being burned, flying blind, persistent journey. All right, so this is in the challenge position. So you're really struggling to, fly towards the light, to seek the passion, the flame, the desire. You're kind of only seeing the darkness here. You're struggling to follow your inner truth and to be mindful. You're struggling. You're only seeing the dangers and the risks of being burned, rather than persistently seeking the light. Okay, you're seeking the darkness, seeking the failure, seeking the danger, rather than, that's what you're looking for, rather than looking for the passion and the this could be amazing, and that this could be happiness, and this could be, positive energy, or you failing to see the flip side of things. You're only seeing one side of the coin, and that's tarnished, and so you're just presuming that both sides of that coin are tarnished without even flipping it over, because if you were to flip it over, you would see that it was nice and shiny on the other side. All right, Scorpio, but mind blank. mind blank. So I'll just move straight over to the lenormand here. Obviously, it wasn't important. Scorpio. Scorpio. Oh, I was just going to say Libra had a similar message. So for those of you on the cusp, you may want to check Libra as well. Scorpio, upcoming challenges for Scorpio. Some of you, the challenge might be to do with a Libra as well. Or like it's not so much to do with a Libra, but it's kind of like you're bouncing off a Libra and you're both sort of increasing the negativity. Does that make sense? That might be the case for some of you here. We see the mountain coming through first, followed by the anchor. All right, so you're kind of stuck in this mountain energy. You're allowing this mountain to hold you back, hold you down, keep you stuck. All right, because all you're seeing here is the challenges, the obstacles, the delays, the things that are blocking your path, rather than seeing that these things aren't necessarily blocking you. They're making you show your grit, your determination to persevere through these blockages in order to, to find the, find the safety in that, in some sense. Like the anchor keeps us safe through the storm. All right. So because you're too mindful of danger and you're like, this is a perilous journey up this mountain, so I'm not even going to climb it. But there's this thing about this mountain that it's actually there to keep you grounded and to, it's actually a positive. To be able to climb this mountain is actually to show yourself strength and to show yourself that I can get through these obstacles, that I am powerful enough to overcome the mountain, that I can rely on myself and I know that I can put in the work to overcome these challenges. Rather than doing that, you're kind of just looking at this mountain going, oh, challenges, I'm stopping here. I'm not going to try to find another way around that. I'm just going to stay stuck instead of putting in the hard work to climb, all right, and keep, one foot in front of the other, because you're just presuming that you're not going to make it, that there's too much risk of not making it to the top. But we do also see the book coming through here for you as well. So this is these challenges are for you to learn. All right, these are like lessons, I suppose, in a way. These blockages are lessons to teach you how to climb and how to find steadiness within yourself and how to anchor yourself through storms, to find that perseverance and that spitfire nature that is part of you. To find that this is your learning experience, your lesson that is really to show you how strong you really are, how dedicated you really are. And you're just, if the longer that you stand there and wait before you try to climb, the harder you're making the climb, the bigger that mountain becomes in front of you. Okay, so you need to seek the light, you need to climb the mountain to reach the sun, right? And then when you get to the top of that mountain, Scorpio, you can see for miles and you can see exactly where you're going to next. And you can see from the own strength and reliability of, I can do it. That you find this, you learn this part of yourself, this perseverant side of yourself, this determined little Scorpio energy. And you can see your way clear and you know exactly where to go from there. So don't stop. Don't stop. No matter how hard the climb is, don't stop. Keep seeking the light. Keep climbing higher and higher. You can do it, Scorpio, and you will be amazed at yourself, and it will teach you so much about yourself in the process. So there is a bit of a challenge coming up in that sense of like that you do need to persevere and instead of allowing yourself to be stuck. Does that kind of make sense? And it might be a perilous journey. It might be hard. Mountains quite often are difficult to climb, but if anyone can do it, it's you, Scorpio. Okay, you're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, upcoming challenges for our Sagittarius, please. Upcoming challenges that Sagittarius needs to be aware of. Midnight chime. Inevitable changes, fleeting moments, urgency to act now on inspiration. Time is slipping away. So this is in the challenge position. So you're really struggling right now to embrace change and to make, take action and make movements. That you're ignoring this urgency within yourself to, proceed. You're struggling to take action, to take the steps. You're kind of allowing time to slip away on you a little bit here. You know that there's this urgency within you to fix something, to do something, but you're kind of like, maybe you're hesitating. Sagittarius, upcoming challenges for Sagittarius, please. I can see exactly why you're hesitant to move to, because firstly we have the grave coming through first. The grave is the coffin. It's something that needs to end in order to start the new beginning. Something needs to be closed off. Something needs to, it's a death and a rebirth. So you're really struggling to allow this to die, allow this to close off in your life. Remove this. End something in your life. That's the struggle, because even though you know that it's time to do that and it's time to, embrace all that energy and put it into something new, you're kind of, it's hard. It's going to be hard, and you know it, and you're like, there's a bit of fear here, but you need to do that. There's this urgency factor. For some of you, like I am picking up that for some of you, this is specifically to do with like a relationship, and that it's time, it needs to come to an end, because we also have here the owls as well as the ring. Okay, so this could be, any relationship in your life, love, friends, family, co-workers. For some of you, it might even be a relationship. The other thing I am picking up on is a job, or something along those lines. That that it's time to stop, to quit, to stop working for this place. But it's like it's going to involve a hard conversation with with somebody that you feel close to in some kind of way, because we have the owls and the ring here. So this is a mature relationship. It could also be like for some of you it's like a conversation about immaturity in some sense, like gossip or rumors. um there's a wisdom here as well. So I am picking up strongly that for some of you it's like there's a hard conversation, because it's like a pattern or a cycle that needs to break here as well. um and you may find the conversation difficult, to have this conversation maturely, because maybe it is only on rumor, being fueled by rumor, that, and you're like, oh well, maybe I shouldn't have this conversation because it's not fact. But there's a wisdom here, so there's a fact. That it's fact, even if it's just a rumor, even if it's just hearsay kind of thing. You've got this wisdom within you that you already know. You're you know you feel the urgency already to stop wasting time with this situation, to stop repeating this cycle, to allow it to end. Um, you know it's inevitable. Like, that the change here is inevitable, and you're avoiding it. You're avoiding ending it. For some of you, it's because you have this fear of the new beginning as well, that you're like, well, because I'm feeling like some of you are wanting a guarantee that there's a new beginning here. But even if you don't have a guarantee, that maybe you need to just, because with the coffin, we need to end things and close the lid on that thing before we can move into the new energy. So you may not get that guarantee until you've done the hard thing and ended something and had this hard conversation. Okay, so that's pretty much the only storyline that's coming through with that for you, Sagittarius. So a lot of you, I feel like a lot of you straight away will know exactly what that is. And you are starting to already feel that urgency, or starting to get a bit of an inclination one way or another, because it does feel like it is coming in pretty quickly here. For some of you, it's already started. So even though I'm talking about upcoming challenges, I think the upcoming challenge is to do something you've already decided in your heart needs to be done. Does that make sense? But that's what we have for you, Sagittarius. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's New Year's reading for Chinese New Year. And we will move on over to our Capricorns. Okay, Capricorn, upcoming challenges that Capricorn needs to be aware of. Upcoming challenges for the Capricorn collective. Coiled and waiting, Capricorn. Watch for pitfalls. Shed your old skin for new possibilities. Stealthy plan. Opportunity strikes. So this is coming up in the challenge position, Capricorn. And with this specific message, I feel like for a lot of you, this is directly related to the Chinese New Year tomorrow. Okay. Keep an eye out for that reading. I will be doing a Chinese New Year reading tomorrow. So definitely keep an eye out for that, Capricorn. This may link very muchly with that. But it's because you're challenged by this energy. So you are struggling to shed the old version of yourself, Capricorn. You're struggling to embrace new possibilities. You're also, I do feel with it, the keywords here, stealthy plan. I do feel as though you're being too open about your plans, Capricorn. You're telling too many people. You need to actually work in the shadows. Move in the shadows, Capricorn. Don't tell everyone what you're planning, because that's the pitfalls you're not expecting, you're not looking for here, is that there may be somebody around you that is not 100% got your back, or not fully in your corner. I am picking up on somebody who's passing on messages to somebody else. That somebody else is keeping tabs on you through someone that you're close with. But I'm picking up for some of you, it's not necessarily someone that you're close with either. It could just be because you seem to be I'm getting a lot of energy of you being very vocal about everything, which, Capricorn, you are very open and honest, about what's going on for you when you're talking about it. But you're needing to embrace your coldness right now, to be honest. You're needing to be a little bit more detached and not revealing all, holding back a little bit with what you're revealing to others. That might be an upcoming challenge because you're wanting to tell people about it, kind of thing. It's kind of this energy of like this is just an example. I'm not saying that this is happening because we would all love that, right? But obviously it's a collective message. Even if it were to happen for one Capricorn, it's an example. It's not happening for all. Someone wins the lotto, right? They win lotto and they tell everyone that they won the lotto, and then all of a sudden everyone's coming out of the woodwork going, Capricorn, give me money, buy me a house, buy me a car. So if you win the lotto, Capricorn, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone other than your financial advisor in your bank. Here's my lotto. Don't let anyone touch it except for me. Capricorn. Upcoming challenges for Capricorn. But that's something like, of course you would want to share your good news. You know what I mean? You're excited. I want to tell everyone I won the lotto, but like it's going to work against you, so you can't tell people. Does that make sense? Capricorn. Upcoming challenges for Capricorn. For some of you, it may have to do with winnings as well. Not going to lie. We have the clouds coming through here, Capricorn. So the clouds does talk about, being challenged by the way that you're thinking, and by being challenged by your anxieties and your confusion, I suppose. That you're overthinking things, but more so you're overthinking like, because with this one where it says, shed your old skin for new possibilities, you're overthinking that there is no new possibilities. You're overthinking that all the possibilities that have existed in the past are the possibilities. You're not actually allowing yourself to think of new possibilities, different possibilities, and you're not nurturing positive thoughts. We have the feminine there as well. So, you're challenged by your softness and your vulnerability and your loving nature, Capricorn, that you're only like, because with this thoughts energy and this possibilities energy, it's something about like you haven't thought of this possibility because it hasn't happened to you before. And you're not allowing yourself to think of possibilities that haven't happened for you before. So, in that previous example of like you win the lotto, that's never happened to you before. So you haven't been faced with this, who do I tell, kind of, I'm so excited, I want to tell my good news, but you've never been faced with the possibilities that happen from this before. So, you really you're only thinking about the possibilities of like, oh well, when I told so and so my good news last time about this, they were very supportive, so I'll tell them that I've won the lotto. But I'm not thinking about the possibility that, hang on, they might not be supportive this time because all of a sudden they want the money. Does that make sense? We also see the clover. So for a lot of you, this has got to do with your good fortune. It's got to do maybe with risks that you're taking, investments that you're making. Okay. The clover does talk about, pick a 4-leaf clover and you'll have good luck. So you're kind of like maybe picking something up. There's that you have this good luck, and there's this need to not share it, this need to stealthily plan for this investment sort of thing, and not tell everyone, oh look, I invested this money and now I've won the lotto, so that I've got triple the amount of money, or something like that, Oh, I had really good luck on, for some of you this could be like it could be a small win on the pokies, or on racing, horse racing, things like that. Some sort of stock or investment risk that you've taken is paying off. It does feel like it could be a risk or investment that you've made or will be making, and you're only thinking about, and especially too, you're only thinking about what you would be like as a loving, supporting energy to your people, and you're not realizing that they may not all be like that to you, Capricorn. There is an opportunity here, and it seems to be like, I keep getting that this is talking about, money for some reason. It's not necessarily, well, it is one of the money cards, career cards, but it seems to be shouting from the rooftops, money, money, money. Not necessarily like a huge amount, Capricorn, and that is maybe why you're not thinking about this, and you're not thinking about new possibilities, because it feels like a brand new possibility. This has never happened to you before, so of course it doesn't occur to you that this could happen to you. Does this make sense? So yeah, the best advice I can give here, Capricorn, is to not share too much about what's going on. Like, everyone always gives Capricorn a bad rap for being cold and detached, but you need to be at the moment. It feels like there's somebody, and you're struggling yourself too, to release the old version of yourself. And this old version of yourself would tell people your good news and would tell everyone, I won the lotto. But you're needing to, move into some new energy here. So definitely keep an eye out, Capricorn, for that full, the Chinese New Year reading tomorrow. I definitely feel as though that's going to link up with this. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. And we will move on over to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Upcoming challenges that Aquarius needs to be aware of. Upcoming challenges for Aquarius. Oh, the final embrace. We see Mr. Death there. Not holding a scythe. He's just holding a wand. Weird. Unavoidable transition. Creating your purpose. Fueled by your passions. Living fully and fearlessly. So this is in the challenge position. So you've, Aquarius, I want to say you've given up. Why do I want to say you've given up? You've packed it all in. You're ready to meet the end. It sounds because you're like, no, change is scary. Yeah, I might be passionate about that, but what if it doesn't work out? Like, there's something holding you back here, and for a lot of you, it's fear. All right, because this is a challenge position. We're talking about living fully and fearlessly. So you're not living fully and you're not living fearlessly. So that means you're living in fear of potential future outcomes, consequences. All right, you're not taking the chances that you need to take. You're not taking the actions that you need to take here, especially when it comes to following your dreams, following the things that make your heart full and make you tick, things that you're passionate about. Things, because, there's change. It involves change, and that's scary. All right, so your upcoming challenge is to embrace the change a little bit more. Aquarius, upcoming challenges for Aquarius. Interesting. We have the dog coming through first. So that talks about being challenged by dependability, being challenged by loyalty and support. This is the card of friendship, but it doesn't necessarily feel like actual person here. It's feeling like you're challenged by reliability and dependability. That understanding. You're being challenged by, no one will understand. If I make these moves, no one will understand. No one will support me. I can't, I can't rely on this lasting and being loyal to me, or that it won't change again. Because it's kind of talking about, the word companionship is one of the cards here for the dog. And you are like, that's the fear, is that it's not going to remain a loyal companion by your side. That you're going to start this, you're going to follow your passion, and then you're going to lose it. That it's going to drop off the face of the earth. That for example, here, if your passion is cooking and you want to start your own cooking company, and your fear is, but if I start following that passion, and then what happens if the company goes bust, and then I don't have that anymore? So you're fearful of something ending before you've even started it, because you're fearful that it's not going to last, it's not going to stay there. Does that kind of make sense? We have the child here as well, so definitely challenged by taking on the adventure, taking on the new beginning that this involves for you, because this is living fully and fearlessly. So it feels like there's a bit of risk involved here, that in order to take action here, you're needing to take a risk. All right, so for that same example, if this is like a new company that you're starting, a new business that you're starting, you're afraid to take that risk because you're afraid that, you're afraid to just start the adventure, to embrace the new beginning, to have fun with it, kind of thing, because you're so fearful of the future outcomes, and that this won't work. You're so fearful that this is not going to work, that you're not allowing yourself to even take the first step. All right. We do also see the letter here as well. So this is something about, for a lot of you, it's, instead of using the example of a new business, this could be, like something to do with communication and expression. So you're fearful of expressing your passion towards something, because it's like, as soon as I say I want the new business, I lose the chance. As soon as I say, I'm going to do this, it all falls apart. As soon as I express that I want it, it's going to get taken from me. So that kind of thing. There's something there about the expression of wanting it, the expression of, I want to start this new adventure. I want a new beginning here. It's kind of like you're fearful of it being taken away before it's even begun, is what's kind of talking about here. And I must say, Aquarius, that for a couple of you, it's like something to do with paperwork. There's someone here too that this is to do with an adoption or something along those lines. Because you're like, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to sign all the paperwork and, fill in all the forms only to be rejected and not be allowed to adopt that child. Even though I really want that child. So there's some fear that needs to be faced here in order to live fully within your heart space. Because, embracing your heart and embracing your passion and desires here. There does need to be some fear overcome, Aquarius. But you're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for the Chinese New Year reading tomorrow. And we will move on over to our Pisces. Pisces, upcoming challenges that Pisces needs to be aware of, please. Upcoming challenges for our Pisces. The resting place. Honoring memories, peace in accepting life's cycles, moving on from the past. New paths unfold. So some of you, you may be struggling to, move on from the path that you're currently on. And you know, maybe you had your heart set on something, and that's the path you've been on, and you're struggling to let it go because you know you've just had it. It's kind of like you've invested so much into the idea of this path that now that you know that that's not the right path for you, but you're like, but I've, it's this the sunk cost fallacy, where it's like time, like I've put so much time and effort into this already that you know to I don't want to waste all that time and effort I've already put in. But it feels like more to do with something that an ideal. It feels more like an ideal that you've held, or an idea about something that you've held. I am getting a specific example here. That it's like you have maybe been, the specific example I'm getting is that you've maybe been wanting to date somebody, and that you go on a few dates with them, and then you start to realize that, hang on, we're not actually that suited, and it might not actually work with this person. But you're like, but I've already decided in my head that I want to be with that person. So maybe I should just be with them because that was the path I was wanting to be on. I wanted to be with them. So now that I've got an opportunity to date them, maybe I should just date them. Even though now I'm realizing that no, that's not actually the path I want to be on. It's kind of, that's the example that's coming up here, Pisces. But I believe it was Aries got this card as well. If you're on the cusp, Pisces, or you've got placements. Pisces, upcoming challenges for Pisces, please. It's a weird message here, Pisces, because we have the rider coming through first, followed by the mountain. So that is kind of saying good news is on the way. Here's the blockage. You're up on your horse and trying to move forward, but bang, here's a blockage, and that's actually the good news. The good news is that you're being blocked from this path that you have been on. So when I'm saying you're struggling to find the new path, a lot of you are being blocked from the current path, but you're kind of like, I'm struggling to move on from that path because that's the path I'm on. It's kind of like you've just got this little stubborn energy going on here, Pisces, where you're like, no, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going, even though I know that there's this big mountain here. If I just keep going, if I just persevere and I'm determined enough, I can get to the top of this mountain. But no, your fate. It's kind of like the challenge is facing this head on. The path that you're already on. It doesn't go to the top of the mountain. All right. And even though you're realizing that, you're like, oh well, if I just keep following it, maybe it'll get me there. But you already know that it doesn't go to the top of the mountain. So this is why it's a challenge for you to take a risk, to take a chance here, to try things in a different way, to invest in a new path, because all of a sudden you've got to, turn back around and go back down the path you've been on, and go back and try a different path. And that feels like a risk to you because you're like, I've already invested in this path. To turn around and then try again over here, that's too much of a risk. It's too much of a chance. You've just got some stubborn energy going on here, Pisces, because you have this fear about feeling like you're going backwards, but like going forwards isn't going to get you there, right? The more that you're trying to push forwards, the harder you're making it on yourself. If you just turn around now and go down and find that other path, you'll end up finding it much easier. But there's this part of you that you're like, oh, but I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up. I've invested into this already. I want to keep going. without realizing that the best way for you to keep going is to turn around and try something else. So just be aware that your upcoming challenge here, Pisces, is that you know the path that you're on leads to repeated cycles, and it leads to even more challenges and blockages than what you think. It leads to the past repeating itself, basically, with the cycles here. The best way is for you to take a few steps back, find a new way around the problem. All right, find new ways of doing things, new perspectives, new paths to follow here. Yeah, it's going to feel like a big chance, a big risk. The thing that sometimes feels like you jumping in the deep end, that feels like the biggest risk, that's actually the right path. That's actually the one that's going to serve you the best. Okay. Even though there's a big part of you holding on so tightly to this path that you feel like you're already on, it's okay to step back, Pisces, and try something different. Yeah. That's what we've got for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's Chinese New Year reading, and I will see you all there.